There are a few techniques that we use while we're fly fishing, and so I made this video to demonstrate some of those techniques. The first is something we call the dead drift. You're going to want your fly to just drift in the water like it's something dead. So you see how I'm just letting it drift with the current, and the fish hit. Now, to improve the dead drift, you want to mend the line, which means to flip the line upstream. This is a bad mend. That's the belly of the line, which should be upstream, not downstream. It happened to work this time, but when you're on the river, make that belly go upstream. When you get a fish, you want to release them in the water, if at all possible. Minimize the amount of time that fish has to be out of the water, and you minimize their stress. And so you notice that I never try to keep the fish in the water as much as possible. Now, when setting the hook, you don't want to crank on it like you do with a regular fishing pole. You just want to lift the rod tip. This is light tackle. So just lift the rod tip and set that hook in the fish's jaw. Here's another example of an underwater release. And one of the things you want to do is, if you do have hold of the fish and you're holding it underwater, point it upstream and let that water run over its gills and give it a chance to catch its breath. And it'll tell you when it's ready to swim off. One thing you might notice, if you look at that fish again, you can see the fish really gilling hard. Look how hard that fish is breathing. That underscores the stress that the fish is feeling, and we want to minimize that stress. The last technique is called stripping the line, which is when you cast out, and then instead of a dead drift, you rapidly pull the line in. You might be mimicking a fish swimming or something like that. This technique works very well in the White River. So I'm just pulling in the line rapidly, not letting it drift. And it worked. So that's just a few of the techniques we're going to be talking about. So good luck and tight lines.